back to Pearson Fitness. Apologies, I'm trying to be quiet. It's like 5 in the morning and I don't know where the missed up all the neighbours. So, welcome to a full day of eating probably 5,500 calories. I don't know exactly how many calories I'm going to have today. But this is a hard day on my training program. So I have 2 quite hard, intense days per week. The rest are kind of just getting volume in, getting a bit of strength work in, and taking away. We've got a few challenges coming up. We've got, first of all, the main one, which is going to be high rocks. We have got about, I think, 13 weeks out from High Rocks Birmingham. I'll have to double check that. I'm about 8 or 9 weeks out from my first challenge, which is for charity, which is If You Care Share charity. It's going to be the weighted vest Great Enough Run. So I'm running the Great Enough Run with 10 kilogram weighted vest. It's my first ever Great Enough Run, first ever proper half marathon. So I'm excited for it, but hard day starts, up nice and early, cold shower, do the morning routine, get some builder in, get some hydration in. We're probably going to have a little 20 gram high five or whatever it is, energy gel just to get some carbs in, just 20 grams of carbs before we train in the morning because we're going to be doing a tough run. We have got an 8k at half marathon race pace. Now, my goal for the half marathon with the weighted vest, which I realise is a stupid idea now, is a 1 hour 45 minute time. Now, I've never run a half marathon before, so that would be a challenge without the weighted vest, but I thought I'd do it with the weighted vest anyway. And I already weigh about 95 kilograms, so we're 105 kilograms. But yeah, that's what we've got this morning, and then I will show you my session later on, which is a bit of strength training with a little bit of high rocks brittle in there as well. Yeah, just gonna get these runs done. It's a little bit of a miserable-ish day in England, but we're gonna put the work in.
Walk around like a bigger than Prince. Walk around like a bigger than Prince.
Ooh, 8k run done. Second time doing that. I did it 2 weeks ago, just to see where I was at, and it was a horrendous run. I'm really happy with that. I think I have it a 4:47 pace. It was going to be a sub 5 minutes, like a 4:55 to 5 minute pace. But you know what? It didn't feel too bad. My heart rate was nowhere near as high as last time. My heart rate monitor is playing up a little bit, which is annoying. If anybody recommends any heart rate monitors, I've got a Polar H10, but I think it's getting on a bit, or it needs updated, one of the two. But yeah, I think my average heart rate this time was 160ish. Max was at 180. The time before that was way high. I think I averaged 170. My max heart rate was like 188, something stuff like that. So big improvement, almost like 10 seconds kilometer difference. I'll put my 2 little comparisons. That's kind of like a thresholdy sort of Friday morning session done. Enough from Melandia, sun's out. Not bad having this just on your doorstep. It's about a 1200 meter loop. There's a decent hill. One side's a decent hill, one side's a downhill. And I've been getting this horrendous, if you can see that, blister on the side of my neck from this weighted vest. But improving, that was 8k done. Obviously, that's the pace I need to be holding for like 21k. So, long way to go. Still got another 9 weeks of training to go. Time to go back, get a little recovery jog back home, get some breakfast, train some clients, and I'll take you through a full day of eating and training. Yeah, get some breakfast. Hello, come on. Cuddles. Lola's got to be in every single vlog, don't you? Yes, you do. Come on, let's get some breakfast.
Yes, people, we're back. Breakfast. Because I only normally have like 20 minutes before I start my PT morning PT. This is normally quite a quick and easy snack, so this will change every single day. I say a quick and easy snack, it's still like nearly 1,000 calories, but it's got to be done. Main ingredient of today's protein source is going to be 0% fat Greek yogurt from Aldi. We've got a full kiwi, about a tablespoon of honey, loads of honey in there to get some fast acting carbs. Got a squares bar, we've got a bagel, we've got some orange juice, and I might add in one of the nicest protein bars, AMRAP Nutrition. I just recently developed, or just recently kind of, produced, I don't know what the word is, I'm thinking of. Anyway, BP20 for 20% off. These are unbelievable protein bars. So yeah, gonna get this down here. This is 994 calories, 57 grams of protein, 155 grams of carbs, and 14 grams of fat. We want to get them calories in, especially on double days. You want to utilise or maximise carbohydrates as soon as you can. Well, I'll say as soon as you can. pretty much 15 minutes after you train, let your heart rate settle a little bit, get as much carbs in your system as possible to help refuel, replenish the glycogen stores, and just help recovery. Massively important if you're doing running, which obviously you're burning loads and loads of calories doing running, especially if you're doing long distance stuff. So make sure you fuel up. We've got a big session later on, but I'll talk a little bit about training. It's very gloopy. Training and stuff a little bit later on, but I'll probably catch you for meal 2, which will be in about 3 hours time, which is going to be my pre-workout meal and probably one of my favourite meals of the day.
Look who we got in for PT. It's not gonna focus, is it? Yes, I know. What's she doing here? Anyway, meal number 2 going down. Oh wait, you can. Which is the best angle? Chicken showdown. PT and the mother. Overnight oatmeal number 2. I'll put the calories and stuff on screen. It's about 10 o'clock. It's gonna be my pre-workout meal. Quickly get this down me. You need to go back inside, miss. You're not meant to be in here.
It's alright.
But yeah, overnight oats. The go. I'll put the ingredients that I use and the macros and stuff on screen. But another like 800-900 calories down the hatch by 10 o'clock. Right, come on, get yourself inside. Right, disobedient little bugger. Are you gonna chill here then?
Fine.
Oh, you're such a madam, aren't you? You're such a madam. Right, you can wait for 5 minutes. Pre-workout. It's time to train. Like I said, we had that overnight oatmeal about 2 and a bit hours ago. Time to get some pre-inners. We're gonna have Optimum Nutrition, gold standard pre-workout, 175 milligrams of caffeine. It's got a little bit of beta-alanine in there, but the main reason I have pre-workout is just for that little bit of caffeine buzz. I only actually have these on my hard days. So my hard days at the minute are on a Monday and a Friday. It involves a lot of legs. So today we have deadlifts. So I'm gonna get a good scoop, 11 grams. You should weigh your caffeine out. You should weigh your pre-workout out because you don't know what you're putting in your body. If you do like a big scoop, it could end up being like 300 milligrams, and 300 milligrams of caffeine is not good for your sleep, not good for come downs, and yes, just not ideal. So that is the pre-workout. Then we have intra-workout, very important ingredient, creatine monohydrate. It's going to help with that strength and power. I put about 7 grams in just because I'm a little bit of a taller, bigger human. 5 grams is realistically normally okay, but I like to be a little bit over just so I'm getting enough. 7 grams of that, and then we've got 2 supplements which are not by Optimum Nutrition, so we will not show you the branding. But one of them is acidic dextrin, a carb. I only really have this on my weight training sessions. For some reason, if I have too much of it, if I do it in 2 sessions, if I do it, say an AM session, have acidic dextrin beforehand or during it, then I do a PM session and have it, my stomach just doesn't seem to like it. So when I'm running, I use gels as my kind of carbohydrate source. When I'm doing my resistance, my weight training, or maybe like some sort of like, maybe a high rocks workout, I should probably get used to doing gels. I use this anyway. It's literally just a carb powder, which just digests really, really easy. It's a little bit better than a cluster dextrin, I find anyway. And then we have some essential amino acids to minimize any sort of muscle protein breakdown during training. I always try and go for an EAA rather than a BCAA because EAA stands for essential amino acids, so it has all the essential amino acids needed for protein synthesis, whereas a branch chain amino acids, a BCAA, only has the branch chain, so you're only getting the 3 branch chain amino acids. So you might as well just save your money and get an EAA if you're going to go for it. Again, these are just going to help with the 1 or 2%. It might not help too much. But 1, I like the flavour of it because my creatine and my acidic dextrin isn't flavoured. And 2, you might as well just get the extra percentages in and just try and hold onto whatever muscle you can while you're doing all this running. But 15 grams of that should get me about 6 grams of leucine, which is the main amino acid that we need. So that is what we're going to sip on. I forgot actually. One final ingredient to the intra. Pink salt just saves me constantly using expensive electrolytes, which I use. I either use Builder or I use... So yeah, I either use Builder or I use Supplement Needs electrolytes, the Dr. Dean one. But every so often I just put like 8 grinds of pink Himalayan salt in. My flavoured water, because obviously it's got the flavoured EAs in, just to get some more salt in. Obviously salt is going to be especially important, electrolytes are especially important when you're sweating a lot, when you're training twice per day. Hydration has got to be on point, so some extra salt won't harm. Right, today's deadlift session, I'm going to do a little bit of a walkthrough, I think, little bits of it. I need to get my head down and get a session in. We're still in the early phases of my high rocks training, so we're still in block 1 of like a 16-week block. So it's a big focus on running, running in the morning a lot of the time, and then in the evening or in the afternoon, now it's like 12:30. We are going to be getting some weights in, not too much high roxy sort of circuit stuff. It's a lot more strength training, trying to build a bit of strength, bit of muscle, and then as we go through each block closer to a race, we're going to get a little bit more specialized, some more compromise running, some more sled work, burpees, wall balls, all the stuff that we hit. Get this in. Little note as well, I've left about 5-6 hours in between my morning session and my evening session, just because there can be a little bit of a crossover in terms of what stimulus your body's trying to recover and kind of like develop pretty much. So if you are doing an interval running session in the morning and you got weights, I'd probably try and leave it at least 3 hours, ideally like more towards 6 hours in between before you do it, just so your body knows what stimulus it's getting. I can't remember the exact theory, it's something theory, I can't remember what it's called now, but yeah, I'm blabbering on. Down the hatch, let's get deadlifting. It's a great little muscle man that, isn't it? One of my clients, Stephen, shout out to Stephen for his little artwork. He likes to draw certain things on the board every so often. But yeah, that's Stephen's artwork. And then this is my client challenge time. This month's challenge is a 5-minute max distance ski erg, so 5-minute AMRAP on the ski erg. Every minute on the minute, you got to do 10 bodyweight squats. So yeah, there's the meters of all my clients. Anyway, the session breakdown, I like to split my sessions up into 5 kind of different sections. We've kind of got a warm-up / prehab section up here. Strength, a little bit of hypertrophy, we're keeping it in the minute. A little bit more, it's still hypertrophy, but a little bit more higher reps. And then I always like to finish with a little bit of an AMRAP, even though I'm in the strength block at the minute, just to keep my mental capacity to deal with pain there. But yeah, we've got deadlifts today. I like to work with time just so I'm not procrastinating. So we've got every 3 minutes on a minute, 7 deadlifts, 4 rounds, that's 12 minutes. Every 3 minutes on a minute, 10 RDLs. I sometimes do deficit deadlifts, I sometimes do RDLs depending on what I'm doing, because today's a very deadlift focused session. I had my squat session earlier in the week. And then some rear foot elevated split squats. These sometimes I alternate with walking lunges. So it's pretty much every 4 minutes on a minute we do 15 reps each side, but I alternate sides every 2 minutes, just so they get a little bit of rest in between. I'm gonna check Lola hasn't run off. Lola! Wait. There she is, she's on. Right, should we get deadlifting? But yeah, the AMRAP, I literally decide on the day what I'm gonna do. But I think today, it might be 20 cal bike, it might be 2 length farmer's carry and 20 dumbbell thrusters. Does that sound good? No, it doesn't. You're just gonna sit and wander around, aren't you, while I do deadlifts? Right, let's get to work. Oh, Jesus, I'm stiff today. So the warm-up's always the same. Always do 2 minutes on some sort of cardio. We do 10 greater stretch, so 5 each side. And we'll do 5 straight leg walkouts, which I'll show you in a sec. Get these hamstrings loosened off after this morning's run. Right, so we always start off my deadlift sessions with some Copenhagen planks. 2 reasons. First reason, I've had adductor surgery in the past. So I've had 2 bilateral groin tear. Well, I've had a bilateral groin tear, so both groins have had a slight tearing. So I had that operated on a while ago, just to make sure that doesn't like flare up or anything. Keep me adductors strong, and also warms the core up nicely for deadlifts. So it's a little bit of a side plank variation. We're gonna go 3 sets, 30 seconds on one side, 15 seconds rest, 30 seconds on the other side, 15 seconds rest, and just smash them out. These do hurt, and they never get any easier. Woo. Right, first main exercise, deadlifts. Just to quickly run through it. Technique-wise, there's a few pointers that I see a lot of people make mistake. The first one is the initial setup. I see a lot of people start way too far away from the bar. So when they're trying to pull the weight up, the first movement is the hips go high, the round, and then they're dragging that weight up. You probably see a lot of people with the kind of prone back, as they kind of call it. What you want to do is make sure you're stepping underneath the bar. I always say the knot in your shoelaces wants to be roughly covering the bar underneath. So we're bending the knee slightly, we're pushing those hips back, and the bar's staying nice and close to our body as we come up, almost staying in a straight up and down line as we go through the movement. Second point is not engaging the lats. So when you're in that bottom set position, you want to think about pulling your arms back, shoulders back, not squeezing the shoulders back. It's more pulling the arms back towards the body to get those lats firing. You want to come down, you want to hear that bar click. So we're locking it in, and then we're using a bit of leg drive. Leg drive is pushing through the floor, so you're not just lifting this one with your hips that you would for a Romanian deadlift. This one, your quads are getting involved and you're pushing through the floor. You want to make sure your hips and the whole body are rising at the same time. So we're not going hips first, then back, then coming up. Everything's rising at the same time. So take the weight of the bar, click, push through the ground, everything's rising up, stand nice and tall. And on the way down, make sure we're pushing those hips back and we're not bending the knees until the bar passes the line of the body. I see a lot of people, when they're deadlifting, they bend the knees too soon, they're having to go around the body, and the bar path ends up curving. So just make sure everything stays nice and straight. Then a little tip for your grip, try a hook grip. It hurts like hell, but it's going to build that grip strength up and help you get a lot more weight rather than going to an alternating grip, which can create a little bit of imbalances. So I try to learn and teach my clients to use a hook grip. If you're really struggling, you can use straps. Utilize things like chalk, which really does help. One final point on deadlifts, you don't want your feet too wide. You literally want your feet hip width apart. So not a squat stance, not wider than shoulder width, just in line with your hips. Just make sure deadlifts, focus on technique over weight, make sure that form's bang on, make sure we're not rushing it, make sure you warm up properly. So we're gonna build up, we've got 4 sets of 7. This is building up to a top set, so our first set of the 4 isn't gonna be all out. Every 3 minutes on the minute, so we're pretty much getting 2.5 minutes rest in between each set. So for strength work, don't rush it. Take your time on the rest periods, make sure your form's bang on. Brace that core, bend the knees, push the bum back, arms locked in, take the weight of the bar, then we're driving through the floor, pushing the ground away, keeping them shoulders back, full extension at the top. We're not hyperextending, we're just coming nice and tall, then hips back, bend the knees, reset, and drive.
Walk around like you're bigger than Prince.
Up.
Walk around like you're bigger than Prince. Walk around like you're bigger than Some people have problems. You won't be able to solve them.
Right, next up of a little deadlift supplementary movement is RDL today. Difference between this and a conventional deadlift is firstly, you start from the top position, make sure you start from a rack position. Don't start an RDL from the floor, you're wasting energy. It's not an RDL. Start from the top, your knees are staying locked in a position and you're thinking about pushing those hips back, going down to your active range. So your active range is as far down as you can go while keeping your back straight and the hips continuously pushing backwards. Once you get to the point where you can't push them back anymore and your back's staying straight and you have to round it to go any further, that's when we come back up. So everyone's got their own active range. If you've got tight hamstrings, you're not going to be able to go as far down. So 4 sets of 10. Every 3 minutes on a minute, we're going to do a set. I'm going to try and do no straps for as long as I can until my forearms go like pretty much fold and fail on me. And then I'll use lifting straps, but try and get used to using your grip, especially if you're a high rocks athlete. Realistically, you don't need to be a stupidly strong deadlifter, but it does come in handy having good grip for your skiing, for your rowing, for your farmer's carry, which I think anything else, but yeah. Build that grip strength up, don't go straight to straps. Too many young little bodybuilders, but you've been using straps and they have little weenie forearms. Might not quite weenie to be fair, like, but anyway.
There's no need to fuss. You just
Oh, tough. Right, final exercise for the strength portion of this workout. We have a rear foot elevated split squat. Ideally for the setup on this, you can either use a bench or you can use a hip thrust pad on a Smith machine on a barbell. Make sure you're setting the bench or the bar up to a height roughly around just below your kneecap. So that hard part of your shin, top of your shin, where kind of some people get Osgood slides, you sometimes get that lump on your shin. That is a simple rule of thumb, roughly again, depending on the person, of where the bench wants to be. So you can see here, the bench is roughly lined up for me nicely in line with that. You're always going to want to start on your weaker side first. The reason is, obviously we want to try and strengthen that side so it catches up to the other side. And always make sure that you have a little bit of rest in between each side. So if you do a set of 10 with your left foot forward, rest 30 seconds to a minute, maybe even sometimes longer if you're really pushing it, and then go on to your stronger right side and make sure you're balancing the reps on the left and the right. So that, like I said, that weaker side can catch up to your stronger side. In terms of setup on this one, you want to be about 2 feet forward in front with that leading leg. So if my left leg's going to go first, I'm going to go 1 foot forward with my right, 1 foot forward with my left, and then my back foot's going to rest on the bench. We're going to be resting my ankle joint on the bench. It's not just going to be your toes. We want a little bit more stability to that. You want to have your back, sort of ankle resting on the bench. Then from that position, we're just squatting over that front leg. If I drop in, trying to keep that chest relatively upright. There's a few different variations of split squats, which I'll walk through in a second. Going to make sure in this bottom position that this leading heel is flat on the ground, the knee slightly driving over the toes, making sure that, again, that heel's down. This back hip is pushed forward, and we're driving through both legs. The back knee's just going to be hovering off the ground, trying to keep that chest upright. If we're loading it with dumbbells by your side, or just unilaterally, just with one side, keeping that chest up, and nice and controlled reps. Pause at the bottom, drive up. To make this exercise a little bit more hip or glute dominant, we're going to take that front foot a little bit further forward. We're going to step back and we're going to allow the hips to push back. So we're holding the dumbbells more over the front of the foot rather than back towards the heel. So we're leaning forward that ever so slightly. If you struggle with balance on this, you can simply hold on to something for a little bit more stability just to the side, which will just help support you. And then you can end up progressing to the point where you're taking this away. Yeah, but now we're going to get 3 sets of 15 alternating sides every 2 minutes, lifting pretty heavy. My foot cramped up demonstrating that. It was bloody horrendous.
Walk around like you're bigger than Prince. Walk around, walk around, walk around, walk around like you're bigger than Prince. Walk around, walk around, walk around.
Right,
Walk around like you're bigger than Prince.
let's get this show on the road. We're going to go for 12-minute AMRAP, 20 cal bike, 20 reverse lunges with 215 kilograms, 20 cal bike, 20 dumbbell. We'll go thrusters. I did shoulders yesterday, so we'll see how we get on. 20 thrusters with a 15 kg. That's going to be tough. Don't know how many rounds we'll get. 3, maybe? We'll see. 12-minute timer. Just get it in, get out. Finish. This one's more for the mental game. Not exactly the most optimal doing this sort of stuff on a strength workout, but it's high rocks. It's all about the mental game. Right.
Walk around, walk around, walk around, walk around like you're bigger than Prince. Walk around, walk around, walk around like you're bigger than Prince. They'll talk about you on YouTube, not like you to look cool. Look at you with disgust. You just walk around like you're bigger than Prince.
190 heart rate. Oh, bloody hell. That was a tough combination on the quads, that. Them thrusters were horrendous. But yeah, that is how to finish your session. If you're a high rocks athlete, don't neglect this sort of stuff, even if you're in a strength cycle. I think it's always good to put little snippets of this sort of like red zone mental toughness work into your training, just to make sure you still got it. Because when it comes down to those final 100 wall balls, it hurts. And it's the mental game that gets you through them 100. Trying to do them as close to unbroken as possible. It's not, never mind what's in your legs, everyone's in the same field, the same boat. We're all fucked at the end. So we got that extra work in, but yeah, training done, another 1,000 calories burnt, another 1,000 calories to eat. But I'm going to tie this gym up, probably take Lola for a walk, loosen off the legs and get some food before evening clients. Oh, good fun. Right, post-workout meal. It's very boring today because it's Friday and we don't have a lot left in the house. So all my bagels are out. I'm out of Squares bars. I'm out of orange juice. I'm out of fruit. So we've got literally basmati rice, 2 cans of tuna, some salad, some cucumber. I'm going to try and look in the cupboards and see what else there is. I did have a Squares bar before. I had my last Squares bar before. So I did have that. I'll put the macros on screen for this, and then if there's anything else I can find in the cupboard, it'll be a concoction of something. It'll probably be one of Bryony's gluten-free wraps with some like jam in it or something, just to get some carbs in, because we need to get like 5,000 plus calories in. The way that I'm working my calories out at the minute, I've got my standard maintenance calories without me exercising, which is about 3,500, maybe 4,000. Probably more towards 3,500 if I wasn't exercising at all. So that's kind of my baseline. Then I obviously wear a heart rate monitor as I train during a training. So however many calories I burn during my training, I add that onto obviously my total calorie intake, and that's what I go off. Protein wise, it's normally 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Fats, as long as I'm getting roughly around 1 gram of fat per kg of body weight, I'm happy. So I'm about 93, 4, 5. To be fair, I haven't actually weighed myself in a long time, so I don't actually know. I'm guessing I'm about 93, 4 kilograms. I've lost a bit of weight. As long as I get about that in. And then carbs, just going to make up the rest. So we're probably getting like 500, 600, probably more than 600 grams of carbs per day. Obviously, this is just going to be dependent on how many calories I burn during the day. But post-workout, high carbs, high protein, low fat. Fat slow the rate of absorption down of all your nutrients. And obviously, we don't want that. We want nutrients straight to the muscles, straight to the body to help recover and fuel us. Because tomorrow I've got a long run. Training-wise at the minute, I'm on 6 days a week. I'm in a bit more of a volume block. So I've got 4 blocks, 4-week blocks leading up to my first high rocks. I'm integrating in my running program for the Great Enough Run, for the weighted vest Great Enough Run, which is a 12-week block. So I'm kind of at week 4 on my 12-week block of my Great Enough Run, and I am on week 3 or 2, might be 2, week 2 of my, so at the end of week 2 of my high rocks plan, on block 1 of 4. So for the high rocks plan, block 1 is very much focused on getting volume in running, so I'm getting up to like 60k a week, I think I am this week. Lots of zone 2 kind of 1 threshold, 1 speed session. So Mondays are normally speed session in the morning. I've just been going up to Northumberland. I should really be going to the track, but I haven't been doing that. Speed session in the morning, legs, squat focused on the evening, or in like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And the next day is either a long zone 2 run, or I do my my Wednesday session, which is kind of like a mixture of zone 2 running and zone 2 erg work, depending on what I have for time. So it's either a long zone 2 run, and I'm like an hour to 90 minutes. Then we do upper body in the afternoon. Then the Wednesday, like I said, it's either that zone 2 run, or we do like a 90-minute erg. So I did the other day, I did a 1k run, 1k ski, 1k run, 1k row. I did that for 3 rounds, holding about maximum 150 heart rate, so like zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, and then I finish off the 90 minutes with a zone 2 bike. Thursdays is a little bit more upper body, so my Tuesday upper body is more of a focus on push-pull, so like a horizontal push, like a bench press, horizontal pull, like a single arm dumbbell row, working in that sort of plane. And then on Thursday is a little bit more like shoulders and arms, a bit more like bodybuilding session. That session will probably get taken out in the next block, and then today is obviously Friday. Threshold running in the morning, then in the evening it is deadlift focus, lower body, bit of high rocks kind of stuff. And tomorrow is a nice long run, about 20k run with a weighted vest on. Should take me about 2 hours if I hold a good 6-minute pace. And then Sunday's a rest day. Mobility 3 times a week, sauna 60 minutes per week, cold shower every morning, sea dips ideally every Sunday, just for a little bit of added recovery. And as we go through the blocks, the conditioning work will go up, the strength training will go down. I'll probably go down to 3 strength days, probably a Monday, Tuesday and a Friday full body session in the next block of high rocks training, just as my intensity for everything else goes up. Just got to manage recovery. So at the minute it's a little bit more hypertrophy strength work, and as we go through it, it's just going to be that lower rep strength work as the running and the high rocks work goes up. But yeah, that's less than me blabbering. And we're not going out, we are seeing friends later on for food, so I'm going to have some burgers. That'll get my calories in. When I munch this, I'll let you know what else I eat. Yeah, and hopefully you're enjoying this video of me waffling loads. It's good to be back to the vlogs, you know. I haven't done one for a while, apart from Ibiza, which if you haven't already seen, is a fantastic vlog. I'll put it up on there. The big man was on fire again. But right, I'm going to eat this because it's going to be getting cold now. Bloody British weather. Right, we're off to pick more burgers up for tonight. Say hello to the vlog. That was a very polite, quiet hi. Gonna get more burgers. I've got a peanut butter burger and a standard burger. And we're going to go and see Kevin Eilish and Baby Cave. Kevin Eilish were actually in the last 5,000 calorie. And Olin, sorry. Kevin Eilish were actually in the last 5,000 calorie full day of eating video that I did. Back when I went to Miller and Carter. Remember when Kev was at the Kev G Show thing? Yeah, Kev G Show. I'll put the little link to that video there. But I'm starving. Pack it secured.
He's fine.
Kev G Show will be in it, of course he will. The fans want to see Kev G Show.
I've retired me.
He's not retired. He's out on the scene tomorrow, man. What we're saying, how many calories in there? Like 2,500. Well, you only have the whole fruit. I'll cheers the camera. Cheers. I don't know what the lens is there. Amateur, right? I'm gonna scoff this down, man.
That's good.
Is it on?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
It's very nice.
Tasty?
Right, that burger was absolutely delicious. Should really balance this somewhere. Let's just pop this here. Them burgers at the end were probably a lot of calories, and I did have double fries in them as well. But trained hard today, probably burned about 2,500 calories just through training alone. My probably average maintenance calories about 3,500. So we had a lot of calories to play with. I wouldn't say realistically 6,000 calories, but at least 5,500. From what I've estimated, my calorie intake, again, the burgers and the fries, I've estimated about 2,250 calories. Again, just as an estimate, I'll put the macros on screen. 285 grams of protein, 576 grams of carbs, and 190 grams of fat. Obviously, this isn't going to be a typical day of eating. I'm not going to do this every single day. When it comes to my hard days, my Mondays, my Fridays, and then my long run days on a Saturday when I'm doing like 2 hours worth of running, I do tend to indulge and enjoy myself with food, which is the positive thing about hybrid training. You do burn a lot of calories. However, it's not probably the best thing to do all the time. I would say 80-90% of the time I'm pretty on it with nutrition, and then I enjoy the additional calories when I earn them, pretty much. Yeah, so that is it in terms of nutrition. Obviously training wise, I touched on it a little bit, how I set my training up, but I can probably go into detail with that a little bit more. But yeah, like I said, we've got Great Enough Run in 9 weeks, High Rocks first pro race in Birmingham in what will be 13 weeks roughly. But the prep will really start probably in 2 weeks time or something for the High Rocks. But the weighted vest runs are getting tougher and tougher. I'm also doing it for charity. I'm doing it for the If You Care Share charity, which is a brilliant charity, brilliant mental health charity, suicide prevention charity, do some amazing work. I've done a podcast with one of the members, or one of the owners of If You Care, the original stars of If You Care Share, Matthew and his family. I'll link the podcast up there. It was a while ago during lockdown. And also Thomas Young was on the podcast as well, who works at If You Care Share. They do some amazing work, like I said. So if you would be so kind to donate any sort of money towards the charity, the link down below will take you to that page. I think we've just about hit our target. Our target was £500. But yeah, plenty of things to look forward to. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Hopefully you enjoyed the food. Them burgers were amazing. I need to get the company of the burgers. Slack Joe's Burger in Newcastle. Probably the best burger van I've had, like locally anyway, in Newcastle. So yeah, brilliant burgers, fantastic. Thank you for helping with my calorie consumption. But I'm gonna rest up, get to bed. It's past my bedtime, it's like 10 o'clock. Gotta get up at 6 o'clock. Quick turnaround and get this 20k done. And crack on with the rest of the weekend. But yes, as always, subscribe down below. I'll try and get some more content out a little bit more regularly on YouTube if you enjoy it. Yeah, we'll see you in the next video. Over and out.
Walk around like you're bigger than Prince.
Don't listen to what people say when what they say is crazy.